Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to Lazy Couch Thoughts. I guess today it's Lazy Car Thoughts, but nevertheless, I can't really be in the house right now to record, so you get Lazy Car Thoughts today. Before we start, I have to say two things. Number one, I'm not driving, as you can see, so I'm a safe driver. Don't worry about any of that. Yeah. And then number two, if you're enjoying these little series, don't be afraid to like, comment, stuff like that. In my bio, I have all of my other content that I've been producing, such as blogs. We stream on Twitch. That's a lot of fun. And then the social media accounts where I share a lot of my content and things of that nature, interact. So if you're enjoying it, don't be afraid to do that. Now, let's get into the actual topic of the day. Today I want to talk about Terrace Marshall Jr. and him opting out for the season. Number one, the first thing I have to say about it is bravo. Thank you. Like, clap, clap. I can't really clap. I'm holding the camera. But, like, I'm happy he did this at the end of the day because Marshall is a potential first-round pick in the NFL. He just secured generational wealth for his family. That's what he should have done. He doesn't need to play the remainder of the season. He doesn't need to go play 3 or 4 more games and potentially get hurt, potentially cost him and his family on generational wealth. And I get it. Some fans say, oh, he owes it to LSU. He has an obligation. No, he doesn't owe LSU anything. He doesn't owe LSU fans anything. Like, they completed a business transaction the moment he signed for a scholarship to play football there. And he played football there. He played football there for 3 years. He led them to a national championship. He was a key piece of a national championship team, which makes him an LSU football legend. At the end of the day, he accomplished what he set out to accomplish at LSU, and he upheld his obligation at LSU. He still played this season. And whenever Jamar opted out, I supported that, and I'm definitely supporting Marshall opting out now because Marshall is once again lighting the world on fire, and he sees the type of money and the type of bag he's about to earn, and he's earned it. He's earned every minute of it. He's earned every penny of it through work, through his entire career and just life as a football player. He's worked his tail off for this, and we as LSU fans, we have to accept that at the end of the day, we're not the last stop for them. We don't pay them, right? Like, you can't get mad at somebody if they don't want to work for free, right? And then as much as he's already given us, you can't get mad at him. It's the same people that got mad at Fournette for sitting out at the bowl game. Why would Fournette play in a meaningless bowl game for a 7-5 team when he's about to be a top 4 pick in the draft? Does that make much sense? No, he shouldn't. He shouldn't potentially sacrifice generational wealth because you want to see your favorite player play against, like, I don't know, Wake Forest. It's not Wake Forest, but, still. Just like a just not good team, a not good game. And you'd rather see them potentially get injured and that. Like, that's happened to players before. Players have gotten injured in their bowl games. Like Jalen Smith of the Cowboys. I think he tore his ACL in the bowl game right before the draft. He was supposed to be like a top 10 pick. Ended up slipping down because he tore his ACL. And I think he ended up signing a monster contract later, but that's only because he returned to form. He became himself again, but he cost himself a lot of money early on. He didn't get a top 10 pick type of contract. He got a third or a rounder or whatever he was drafted. He was in the middle rounds. I don't want Terrace Marshall having to do that type of thing. I want him to go get his bag. I want him to go succeed in the NFL and play for another 15 years to where everyone in the NFL knows his name. Every NFL fan knows his name because, in case you didn't notice, Justin Jefferson is absolutely tearing it up right now in the NFL. And Marshall and Chase both might be better. As crazy as that is to say. Like, Justin Jefferson was Burrow's favorite target, but Jamar Chase won the Blundercoff. Terrace Marshall was the one leading college football in receiving touchdowns like halfway through the season. I think he finished with like 18 last season despite missing a bunch of games. Like, they're both, like, all three of them, they're all such special talents. They're all Pro Bowl caliber talents. And they all played at LSU. They're all alma maters. They're all, if we're treating them right now, they're going to come back and they're going to say, hey, recruits, these guys are where you go. They take care of you. They have the best facilities. They'll do anything that you ask for them. They'll do anything you need of them. If you decide to go chase your dreams in the NFL, they're going to encourage you forever. They're going to go to your games with your jersey on their backs. That's what we need from former players. Because believe it or not, it's a big deal. It's a big deal whenever former players like Odell and Joe Burrow and Jarvis Landry come back to LSU when recruits are there and talk to them about how awesome LSU is and how much they love their time here. And you know what happens? If you dog a dude and you drag his name through the mud, then they don't come back. So LSU fans, if you had anything negative to say about Marshall and his decision, keep it to yourself, because he doesn't owe you anything. And if he was paid, this move, one, probably doesn't happen, and two, if it does, then you have a reason to be upset. I still wouldn't be upset, because all of these decisions stem from the fact that they're not allowed to make money off their own likeness, while the NCAA makes billions off of it. Facts, right? What does Ben Shapiro say? Facts over feelings? That's facts over feelings. Like, that's a real one, not some little fake political one. This is real. These guys bring in so much money to the NCAA, yet they can't have a YouTube channel, yet they can't stream on Twitch. A car salesman, local car salesman, can't use them in an ad, pay them to come be in an ad? Really? Like, I get it. Like, paying players directly probably wouldn't work much, because at the end of the day, only the top players will get real money. Because the Joe Burrows, like the top recruits, he wasn't a top recruit, but like, I'm just saying, the top best recruits in the country are going to go whoever has the most money, and then teams aren't going to pay for 3 stars. Teams aren't going to pay for anything below a 4 or 5. And if it is, it's going to be a minimum. So, like, at the end of the day, those guys don't really bring in the money. It's the big guys. So, I think everyone would be better off if, on top of their scholarship, they're just allowed to make money off their own likeness. Because people like Trevor Lawrence and people like Justin Fields and people like Jamar Chase would make so much money just profiting off their own likeness themselves. Do you hear that? Their own likeness. They can profit from themselves and what they have produced. And I get it. They're amateur status, so they shouldn't be allowed. You can't pay them. That's fine. They can still be amateur status and make money for themselves. We've had kickers in college football have YouTube channels and do cool trick shots, and then you make them delete their YouTube page. They're getting millions of views, bringing all kinds of publicity, free publicity to football, college football. They're small teams, and you make them delete his page because he's making money from it. Okay. That kicker might have even been on scholarship. We don't know. Right? I mean, let's just say for the sake of argument, he is. Why? What does that matter to the NCAA? You know why it matters? Because the NCAA is not getting a cut of that. Because they view it as, this is our asset, only we can control it. And it's ridiculous. In the NFL, they're the NFL's assets. But guess what? They can still make money off their likeness. They can sign contracts with Gatorade. They can sign with Nike. They can sign all these other endorsements. Why can't college football players do it? And I get it, amateur status, whatever. Don't comment that, because amateur status means nothing to me in this conversation. Whenever you see the amount of money that ADs make off of these guys, and especially the football players, because the football teams in every single school make enough money to keep the school's athletic programs afloat, while almost every other school sport loses money. LSU has one of the biggest baseball programs in the country. LSU has one of the most successful basketball programs, and those are, like, LSU's football still, hi neighbor, is still, like, holding them afloat. Like, they're still barely turning out a profit as successful as they are. I couldn't imagine what these other schools are doing who don't have successful basketball and gymnastics and baseball programs. Like, what do? Like, they just lean heavily on football. So, anyways, if you had a problem with what Marshall did, keep it to yourself. That's a 21-year-old kid who's about to be a millionaire because of how hard he worked in his life. He doesn't have to sacrifice it for you. And if you think he didn't fulfill his obligation at LSU, go back to January, I want to say 12th or 13th of 2020, and watch the game that LSU and Clemson played on that day. And, yeah. You won a national championship. You fulfilled your obligation. That's the only obligation he owed to you. And those 4 games or whatever with Miles Brennan, he was lighting the world on fire. Like, he was on pace for, like, a ridiculous, I think up until, like, the Auburn game, I think he was on pace for, like, 20-something touchdowns in 10 games. That's the type of player this is. This is a special player. This is a special player. It's going to be in the league for a long time. A guy that LSU's Twitter account's going to post NFL LSU every Sunday, every Monday morning, because he's a great player. Marshall, go get your bag. Guys, stop. If you got a problem with it, keep it to yourself, because this guy's earned it. Anyways, that's going to do it today. This one might have been a little more controversial because I'm tired of seeing these takes fly. They shouldn't go unchecked. At the end of the day, these guys work their tail off for LSU football, and if they have the right to opt out, especially with COVID. So, I could play that card. I didn't even think about that. Oh no, you're one in playing pandemic? That's so mean. I'm just kidding, but I guess I'm not kidding. But like, still, like, he doesn't owe anything to us, and if he did owe anything to us, he's already paid it back in full with a natty. So yeah, that's gonna do it today, guys. If you liked the video, please like, subscribe, more content like this. Comment, how do you think the NCAA should handle the payment methods? I mean, I like the idea of profiting off your own likeness, but that's just me. But anyways, see you guys Friday. Peace.